Okay, here we go. So, I was born in California, but I moved to Peru when I was like 5 years old. So I essentially grew up my whole life in Peru. And then I grew up in schools like Catholic schools, so we kind of have like a concept of God, being there, but not really having a relationship with him. Um, and I don't want to get too deep in Catholicism, but that was kind of like my whole relationship with Jesus. I wouldn't even call it a relationship. It was just more like, okay, God exists. I respect him. That's it.
Yes, yes.
And I never really felt a deep connection with him. So, fast forward, I moved back to United States and by my own, and it was really, really hard. I was put in a lot of obstacles. I went through a lot of challenges. I was a 19-year-old trying to make it on my own. I had no money, no family, no friends. I was all by myself, and it was really, really, really hard. And I felt like that's when I started losing my faith. Like, I remember asking myself one day when my car broke down for probably like the thousandth time by then, in the middle of the road, like 95 or 75, like up in Sarasota, Bradenton area. And I remember saying, like, to myself, I'm like, if God, if you exist, like, just make my car work. Just
Okay.
make my car work. And of course, it didn't happen. So I think after, those series of like challenges, my faith just
Mm,
started increasing little by little, little by little. And then over time, with my hard efforts and work ethic, I started making things work. There was more opportunities. I started doing like personal training, found my purpose, and I don't know, this sense of like being of doing everything on my own made me feel like I didn't need anybody, and
yeah,
I achieved everything on my own. No handouts. I'm self-made. And that's where I kind of fell into this whole new age spirituality, like around COVID or before COVID, where like you can manifest your reality and you're in charge of your own lane and you're in charge of your actions and you can determine your success, you can determine your future. So that's where I officially told myself, okay, there's no God, there's no Jesus, nobody exists, it's just the universe, and whatever you put out you get back, and I just got to work on being the best version of myself, and that's it.
yeah.
So that's kind of how I fell into the new age spirituality. I started buying crystals. I was more into like chakras and the whole thing, like tarot, card reading. I was going on YouTube and trying to get my horoscope read to me like every single week and working with like different spiritual healers. And like the more you look into that stuff, the more people come into you like offering those services too. So it's kind of like an encouragement to go even deeper into that subject.
One door opens the next and the next, and yeah, just
Yes, yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And it didn't help that, everybody around you is kind of like doing the same thing. Like everybody's getting into the whole new age spirituality. So it makes you feel like it's normal, you
yep,
know? It's just normal and it's part of life. And we're woke.
exactly.
And I got deeper into the whole like manifestation and like working on myself and self development. And but for some reason, like every time I work really hard on myself and I felt like I made really big progress with both my career and like my personal relationships and me as a person, there was like always every once in a while where I felt like I was just simply not enough. There was like no real peace. Like at the end of the day, like every, I don't know, once a week, maybe like once a month, I felt really down. Like I felt really depressed. And I feel like I don't understand. Like no matter how hard I work on myself and no matter like the obstacles that I overcome and how much I achieve, every once in a while I still get depressed. But this feeling of like I'm not good enough, this feeling of like I hate myself, like literally hate myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand. Where is that coming from? You know? And I wanted to get to the root issue of that, and I just couldn't. So, I just started to getting deeper into this whole self-development thing. And I decided to be like super open-minded, as a way of me taking my self-development to a whole new level, you
Mhm.
know? Because you can be organized, you can be nice, you can be kind to people, you can say words of affirmation to yourself, wake up early and do the job and do the actions. But I was like, how can I take it to the next level? Because I feel like I'm doing all the groundwork. So I said, let's work on the open mindedness. I feel like sometimes I can be really like, um, I don't know, very prideful in what I do, right? Because I educated myself a lot and I did so many achievements on my own, right? So I said, okay, let me be open minded. And that's when this client signed up, and this client goes like, oh yes, for personal training, I'm a Christian. So
Mhm.
I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, like that's her religion. But
Yeah.
at that point, because I came to the whole concept of being open minded, I didn't have any prejudice against her. I would have done that maybe like a year ago or years ago. I would have been like, oh, no, just
Mhm.
another person that believes in religion again. Here we go. But I was like, okay, like I respect it. I'm not going to treat her any different. Gonna have regular conversations, whatever. And then I go to my hairdresser, which I haven't seen her for a whole year because I cheated on her and I went to another hairdresser. But I don't know, for some reason we took that 1 year break and I came back. And the first thing that she tells me, Diana, she tells me, hey, how's your back and your neck feeling? Back then I was feeling a little bit of neck pressure too. But she says those two things. And I haven't told that to anybody, nobody, not even my boyfriend, Jonathan, nobody. I just kind of like deal with it on my own, do my stretches, whatever. So I go like, how did you know that I have back and neck pain? Mind you, I'm not slouching or anything. Like I think I keep a good posture. So
Yeah.
there's nothing that can give away the fact that I'm in pain, right? So she goes like, oh, it's the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
And I was like, what? What is that? So she kind of explains to me like the whole, she got baptized, so she received the Holy Spirit. And because I met my client the week before, I kind of like, I felt like I put two and two together, like the connections. That was like the start. I
Yeah.
felt like a little like initial spark. When you start a little fire and you get like a little, yeah.
Started reaching out to you via these people in your life. Yeah. It's crazy too, like hairdressers. They're such a vehicle for the Lord because when I was deep in witchcraft, I had a Christian hairdresser as well who was just so sweet and
Yeah.
everything that like I didn't think Christians were. And she helped me understand, about Jesus and his grace as well. So I just love that. Just shout out to the hairdressers real quick.
Sisters are the best. Yeah. I mean, it's such a personal service, So yeah, definitely they use them as bezels, right?
Yes.
Yeah, get the word out. But yeah, when she explained that to me, I made that initial connection. I'm like, okay, you know, nothing happens as a coincidence, right? Because I picked that up from New Age spirituality, right? Nothing happens as a coincidence. What you put out, you get back in, right? So that was like my whole thing. So I was like, okay, like let's hear it. Let's hear it. So she starts going a little bit deeper into it. She doesn't want to tell me everything because she can tell I'm still like hesitant about the whole topic. But I take it in and I go back home. And that same week, maybe like 2, 3 days later, my client talks to me a little bit more about the whole Christianity thing. And I'm like, wow, like this is exactly what my hairdresser said.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm. Then fast forward the next week, I meet this other guy at the gym. Everything is at the gym, by the way.
Well, that's where you always are. So what do
Yeah, yeah. He can always reach out to me there.
you
And this guy, the way he approached me, His name is Dwight. He doesn't have any social media. He's like in his 50s, and yeah, he's very low key.
Okay.
So he's the way he just approached me, he was like, "Why are you in such a rush?" And I was like, "Well, I got stuff to do." He goes like, "Okay, like, are you not tired of being in a rush? Are you not tired of like running around?" And I said, "No, I'm okay. I'm a happy person. I'm
Mm.
fine." And then he was a massage therapist. He was like, "You know what? Like, let me give you a little free massage." Like, and we started talking, and I say, "How are you so kind? Why are you giving me like a massage just because, and like talking to me like this, like very kind and asking me questions."
And you didn't feel any creepiness vibes?
No creepy vibes at all. No creepy vibes at all. If anything, it's just a cool dude. And he goes like, "Oh, I'm a servant of Jesus Christ."
Another one.
And mind you, this is like back to back to back. Like this, all these events that are occurring are like 2 days apart, 2, 3 days apart.
Um,
So that's when I'm like, okay, Jesus, you got my full attention now.
yep,
Like I'm all ears. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So I just start seeing a lot of signs, like in the back of the car, you always see like a little "I love Jesus" or God, or even I remember seeing like a rainbow one time.
uh,
And this might sound like a little crazy, but I just knew that that was the way he was giving me all the confirmations that he was actually there.
of course.
And there's something about him that we cannot understand, that he's just like beyond our comprehension and our logic. And he's supernatural. So the whole fact of being open-minded is accepting that super nature of God, you
Mm,
know?
yeah, yep,
So after that, it was just back to back that he kept reaching out to me. And the crazy thing too, this was huge for me. At that time, I started like a whole gym apparel line, and I was playing around with the mission statement. And I remember playing in my head, "Dare to be, dare to be, dare to be," right?
mhm,
I walk into the gym one day, and they have this whiteboard. And in the whiteboard, it says, written 3 times, it says, "Dare to be, there, there to be." At the same time, there's this song called "Jesus Walks" that is playing. This is as soon as I walk into the gym.
okay,
So that's how I knew. I knew he was real. After that, I was like, that there's no denying. I cannot deny that he really does exist. I mean, he's given me all the people, he's given me the signs, he's given me the song. He knows what's in my head, and
mm,
he's putting it out there, you
wow,
know? So
yeah,
he's reading my thoughts.
mhm.
Literally. That, that's how I knew.